Lamed Gimel. Vav Reish Lamed Gimel. Vav Reish Lamed Gimel. Okay. Okay, so we'll go through this stuff, yeah. Chav Ches. Yeshem, and some people say, Shkol Masher Asr Chacham Medleika. We mentioned earlier in the Siman that there are many things which Chachamim said you're not allowed to do, even though there's a fire happening. You're not allowed to carry out things into the street. He says that all these things that Chachamim say you're not allowed to do when a fire breaks out, the Yatz Rabbi Meir was only talking about in their times. And their times, the times of the Gemara, the Yidden had their own shtetl, they were by themselves. So when a fire broke out, so everyone could escape, and the fire will burn down their house, but there was no sakanas nefashos. He was talking about in a case there was no sakanas nefashos. Even when they were in the exile, not only in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, even in the time when they were in Galus, the Yidden had their place which they were by themselves. But nowadays, many of the Yidden are between Goyim. What used to happen was like this. The Yidden used to live between the Goyim. A fire would break out, Chas v'Shalom, and then the fire would start getting bigger, and what would happen to the Goyim?
The Goyim would start stealing.
Yeah, they start stealing them and
like
killing.
Like the in our generation.
Not only stealing, they also killing.
In the corner.
Yeah, that's why I started it. Because
it's on the 6th floor.
Then they chap things, the shalim, and they take the loot. If somebody would try to protect his money at that time when the fire is breaking out and the Goyim are chapping the money over there, so they're going to kill the Yid, Chas v'Shalom. The Yid's going to stand up for his money.
Riot.
The riots, yeah. So therefore, nowadays, you're allowed to put out the Dleika on Shabbos. He says, even if the fire broke out in the house of the guy, because we're worried from the Skabat Dleika, maybe the fire is going to come bigger. They're going to come to Chapel Lisha, Ladig, and to riot and to kill by everyone. Whoever puts it out quickly, that is better. Obviously, everything has to be taken according to the circumstances. If they're going to be sure that it's not going to be sakana, you know that the Goyim are not going to be killing in this situation. Also, the Chabbos, and you cannot put it out. But if there's a chash of even a doubt of sakanas nefashos, then maybe there'll be sakanas nefashos. So you're allowed to put it out. That's the minhag.
But this is in our generation now. People live in a building and stuff like that.
So there's another discussion about, we discussed it last year, that's today, that our houses are attached and people, fire could spread very easily with electric, with who knows what.
Yeah, it's electric.
And you could forget that someone's there. Could be, and it's an older person can't get out, or children or whatever. Chas v'Shalom situation come up and happens. So therefore, put it out like a he's talking about. They're talking. Then they had a house by themselves. They walk away. The house burned down for itself. They knew you were the only one there, nobody else. That's fine. Today, it's because even a suffix sakanas nefashos, there's definitely a suffix sakanas nefashos. Even if it's not for Vade, you're allowed to put it out. Wow. This is where we want to get to. Nevertheless, leikila bekiba had leika. They were only mako. It's talking about the time when you didn't live between the Goyim, and the reason why you're putting it out because maybe a Goyim would come and kill. And he says they're only makel in this only when you're putting out a fire. Only concerning the Melacha, putting out a fire. The Melacha kibbe. Why? What is a Melacha kibbe? She Melacha she'eina tzricha legufa. because it's considered a Melacha. Kibbe is a Melacha which you don't need. What does it mean you don't need? We explained last time, we brought from Taisus, we went to Taisus last time. Taisus says, why is Kibbe Melacha shein esricha l'gufa? Because in the Mishkan, when they did Kibbe, when did they Kibbe in the Mishkan? They did Kibbe when they extinguished it. When did they do it? When they were trying to make a sort of coal in order to be used for the smithy, to be able to form the gold and silver and the metals and everything. You have to have a flame in order to shape it. You need fire under it in order to shape the gold, the silver, and the and the metals. How does a smithy?
You have to make it very hot.
You have to have very hot, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about alchemy.
Is that the word?
What are you talking about?
Talking about the fire, the coal which they used
to do what?
In order to, like a smithy, to pour metals on top of it.
In order to do what?
In order to, let's say you want to make a keli, you want to make a certain vessel for the Mishkan. You want to make
smoking,
molding. Right. So in order to mold, so they had
you want to use it like you want to take metal ore and shape it. Simple as that.
Yeah. But you need to have a fire under.
Yeah.
So they used to make a coal. How would they make the coal? The coal wasn't a flame. They had to put out the flame, and then it became a coal. That's the way they would do it.
Yeah, because when you have wood that's already been burned, and the burn you put out the burn, it catches fire.
Catches fire, so you don't want
much easier than wood which was ever burned.
Right. So that's also another tzricha l'gufa. That's another case, right? That's another case.
No, well, you said Melacha ena tzricha l'gufa.
So those cases, so this was the way it was in the Mishkan, and these are the only cases that kibbeh could be tzricha l'gufa. What's it mean tzricha l'gufa?
That you want
the Melacha of kibbeh, of extinguishing, is you need it for something positive.
Right.
And the way I'm saying, we'll say the way Taisa said, the way it was in the Mishkan. Taisa says the way it was in the Mishkan. The way in the Mishkan, they used it for something bad, to make a coal, to make it easier to light. When they extinguished it, so it became a coal.
Okay.
So that's the Taisa when it's tzricha l'gufa. That's the way it was in the Mishkan. That's the way Taisa explains. But if it's not being used, if you're in the kibbeh, the Melacha of kibbeh, putting out the fire is not in order to make a coal. There wasn't the way it's in the Mishkan. Only what? In order to save you from a fire, like when a fire comes spreading and everything, you're putting it out. So then it's not tzricha l'gufa, because tzricha l'gufa is only the way it was in the Mishkan. They didn't do that in the Mishkan in order to save yourself. No fires broke out. They were very careful in the Mishkan.
But you're doing it in order to save the establishment bond. So it's a Melacha tzricha l'gufa.
Oh, so you're saying tzricha l'gufa. But the way, it's a different explanation. Last week we said, what's the Tais tzricha l'gufa? So we said, one of the ways that tzricha l'gufa, according to Taisus, is tzricha l'gufa means the way it was in the Mishkan. That's what it means. Tzricha l'gufa means the way the gufa Melacha was done in the Mishkan.
Not what I wanted to protect.
Right. So the way since the way it was done in the Mishkan, it was done only in order to make a coal. So therefore, if it's done just to save yourself by extinguishing it, you're just in order to save yourself, that's not called tzricha l'gufa, because that's not the way it was done in the Mishkan. Tzricha l'gufa, we said last week, means the way it was done in the Mishkan. The guf ha-malach, the way it was done in the Mishkan. This is not the way it was done in the Mishkan.
Okay.
Or we said Rashi last week. We said another way of tzricha l'gufa. So tzricha l'gufa means I have to want it there. I have to want it there. If it's there in order, it just is. If I don't want it there, just in order to save me from something, to be menea from a hezek, to save me from something. If you remember last week we were talking about the mazikim. Okay. I'm just saving myself from something. Menea hezek. That's not called tzricha l'gufa. Tzricha l'gufa means I want it there. That's the way Rashi says.
It's not chelek and Taisus. It is explained differently.
No, Taisus says that Taisus says that tzricha l'gufa means the guf ha-malacha, the way it was in the Mishkan. We have to go back to the Melacha the way it was in the Mishkan. And we have to see if the way in the Mishkan, are we doing it the same way it was done in the Mishkan?
That's it.
Yeah. That's it.
According
to Rashi, we have a general hagdara, a general definition of tzricha l'gufa for all the Melachas. One Agdara. Agdara is, do I want it to be here, or am I doing it just because I'm forced to, because I'm just trying to get rid of this thing which is trying to bother me, trying to be mazik me. So that was last week's shir. Difference between Tesis and Rashi. So over here, the Emes Rebbe is going to have another explanation. Both of them are going to go with this, because Rashi also says that when you're putting out the fire over here, you wanted to put out the fire. You didn't want the fire in the first place. The fire is just damaging.
Right.
So you're just trying to save yourself from something that's bothering you. You don't want this really here.
Right.
So Rashi also goes into Rashi.
So it's not tzricha l'guf.
It's not tzricha l'guf. Both are going to Rashi. Right. Well, they're going to Rashi. I would rather not have to have done this kibbut. I'd rather not have to do this Melacha of kibbut. I was forced to it because the situation came up, but I don't want it here. That's according to Rashi. According to Tesis, Tesis says the way it was in the Mishkan was you made it to kol. The Melacha of kibbut was in order to make a kol for the smithy, to mold it. But
I'm not trying to make a kol.
But not trying to make a kol. Right? You're not trying to make your house into a kol. Right. You're trying to save yourself. So he says,
I don't even try. I try to stop the fire. There is. That's it.
Right.
It shouldn't continue.
Right. So after this, let's see inside. Kol Makeim, nevertheless, it's a Chafresh Lamed Gimel.
Yeah.
It's Sif Chaf Ches. It's the second paragraph.
Okay.
And Kol Makeim, nevertheless, lehikilo elo bekibi ad leika. We're only the Chacham are only makel, that you're able to put out the fire, because God might come and take your money, and they might. And if you hold back the money, they might kill. Only bekibid leika, only by extinguishing a fire. Only by the Melacha of kibbeh. Shehi Melacha she'ein tzricha l'gufo. Because putting out a fire is the Melacha she'ein tzricha l'gufo. Like we just explained, right? Because it's there just in order to be meinei a hezek, trying to hold back a hezek, and that wasn't in the Mishkan according to Tesis and according to Rashi. Anything which you're trying to hold back a hezek, that's also ein tzricha l'gufo. Remember from last week, yeah?
Trying.
The Yesh Chashas Sakana in Leichaba. And there's Chashas Sakana if you're not going to put it out. Therefore, Chacham allowed you to put it out. Because only Midrabanim, Lachshin Tzich L'Gufa. But when to save your money, you're now let it be Machal Shabbos. Like we were explaining last week. Even Melacha in Tzricha l'gufo. Afilo dar shikrim divri saying again iset chuma. Theoretically, like we said today, there's a chashash sakana, so therefore you should put it out, always the fire. But theoretically, and if you lived in a house which was separate from everywhere, and you were the only one in town over there, so then theoretically you have to leave your house if a fire breaks out on Shabbos and let the whole house burn down. According to everyone, but that's not today. Again, we're talking about if someone's living in a midbar in the desert, and his house is not attached to any other thing. It's only his house by itself, and he's the only one around, and there's no chash that you're leaving someone behind. Today, you put it out right away, but saying in a regular circumstance, theoretically, that's what I'm saying. Theoretically, when it comes to, we don't push away Isid Rabbanan, he says even Isid Chuman. We don't push away, especially something which is this Melacha and Zich L'Gufa Kibi, which Melacha and L'Gufa, even though it's only Isid Rabbanan, we don't push it away even if the whole house burns down. We lose $10 million.
Doesn't matter.
To walk out and say Baruch Dayanemes.
You can get a guy, you're supposed to shoot.
Could you get a guy?
Of course.
So that's another discussion. So that is in Chaf Hey, which it's not so pashut. It's not so pashut. And the pashut, and really you're not allowed to tell a guy. But we're not going to get into that. And that's if you, be'emes, if you want to look at it for a second.
Sign kiss is a big deal.
The reason, you're right. But we should have some meaning.
It's only been
The reason over here, the reason why over here is different is it says in Chaf Hey. If you want, we could read Chaf Hey. We're talking about fires. We could go into fires. We started over here with the fires because the fire raging outside over there. So we'll talk about it more. It's the topic. Let's go to some Chaf Hey. Yeah. it's good you brought it up.
But we have to know today in our generation, if something comes to Shalom happen,
You put it out right away.
Don't wait and don't
Right. This is all theoretical.
They say you're supposed to walk water around.
No, so that's I heard. I'll tell you what I heard from Rabbi Heller. So this is what I heard when he said in the drasha. He said that if a fire breaks out, you put it out right away. He says this, which it says about putting the water and all these different things, is talking about it in the midbar, in the middle of a desert over there, and there's nobody else home, and there's no problem, no shasha. But today it's a sakana, and we see even until today. I'm saying things are happening, right? These stories happen. People die and whatever, and people can't get out. People this, people do, because fires go very quickly, and especially it's so.
And even that was only for Kitzur HaKodesh.
For what?
Even that, putting the water around.
Yeah.
It was only the safe Kitzur HaKodesh.
So this Kitzur HaKodesh, the whole thing we're discussing. Yeah, so this is Shalom Adal. The whole discussion is Shalom Adal. But so he said that it says by Pekuach Nefesh. It says v'hanishol hareza maguna. If a rav is if a rav has to be asked after a lada be Chalal Shabbos for Sakanas Nefesh, Pekuach Nefesh, so it's maguna. It's a disgrace for the rav. Why? Because he should have dashed him Rabbim. He should have made it known that and. So he said.
It's not only maguna for the rav; it's maguna for the shoel himself.
Right.
As soon as you see, even if you're an Am Haaretz,
right.
If you have even a suffix,
right.
suffix,
right.
that it might be before Nefesh, you shouldn't even go to the Rav in the first place.
Right.
Well, we're talking about the Rav is guilty.
Right. He said that he was zeicha to be Hareza Maguna. He said he was zeicha to this.
Who said?
Rabbi Heller. He said.
While the fire
because he said that the story was they were in the dormitory in Adar Torah.
Yeah.
It was a Friday night, Hanukkah, and the candle started made a fire. So two bachrim, and there was people. The two bachrim started going around, looking around for a rav on Friday night. If they're allowed to put it out, so I go running around town.
Oh my God!
And so Baruch Hashem, it says Nissim. It says that. Because people were sleeping there. There was Nissim that people that no one was hurt. Akapanos, that was his drasha. So I'm not saying my own thing. I'm repeating what I heard.
How long ago was that?
Not that many years ago.
But it says in Gemara Shulchan Aruch that it's mitzvah begadol. It's a mitzvah begadol. The rabbi, the Tam Chacham, he should be Mechal Shabbos. So everyone should know that you're allowed. In other words, not even that a lady should do it, because then people say, "Oh, she's a lady."
Yeah,
that's how it's brought in Shulchan Aruch, and I know stories about this from Dal Yisrael that the Satmar Rebbe was in Europe. A boy was sick, and he made a fire to make him tea. He was running a fever. At that time that was considered a matter.
Right.
And I heard from other people the same thing.
Story without the Rebbe, and you keep on night.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I'm saying that's why Shulchan Aruch says it's mitzvah begadol.
Yeah.
Mitzvah begadol to be mechal this the thing. To be mefarsim that it shouldn't happen like these boys that they were looking around Nabach.
Right. I think they were fresh to Yiddishkeit, so they were.
I'm sure.
They were a little they didn't capsich the.
I'm sure. I know another person that wasn't fresh. He grew up, but he had this idea. He had a wrong idea. That's all.
The house burned down. Two Bachrim from Morristown. They didn't know what to do. And they had put a box on top of a lamp before Shabbos. And it started a huge fire in the house.
Wow.
And they didn't know that.
Also, I think it's very important that the Rabbanim should mefarsim
right.
how to take care of fires. That when you make fires, like a lot of religious people have this notion that it's big fires all over the place. Cover this, cover that. But it's very dangerous. Like you shouldn't. Number one, you should not leave fires unattended.
Right.
And number two, when you make fires, you should put them in such a situation that they're protected, Like in the olden days, when they didn't have electricity, they didn't just light candles, but they had lanterns that protected the fire.
Right. Right.
And they would put them in a place where they're not reachable not by children and not by pets and they're not close to anything else that could be like curtains or anything else that could be.
Yeah. And let's do Sif Chaf Hey. Yeah, because you were made of this Sif Chaf Hey, so let's take a look at it. Because also can negate Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa. He mentions it. Asa Leim L'Nachri. It's Asa Tetalagay. Chabbos had Laker. Tell him to put out a fire.
You're in the middle of Pet. You stop in the middle.
Yeah, because it was really that. It was negate that Nakudah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So. Also, Leim L'Nachri Chabbos had Laker. Now let tell a guy to put out the Laker. And again, like you said, this is theoretical, right? Well, you should put it out. He's saying it's also to tell a guy to put out a fire, Mishum Hefsa No Meimei. Just because your money's gonna get lost, a loss of money, financial loss. Even according to those who say Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa Ein Asur Divrei Seifrim, even those who say that Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa is only Asur Divrei Seifrim, because there's a machlekes that Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa is it Chayiv or Pater. So we saw in the Gemara Reb Shimon, and Shimon says that it's Pater, and that's the main psak. But Rabbi Yehuda argues. Rabbi Yehuda says even Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa is also Chayiv. So therefore, Kibbutz would also be Asim and Chayiv in Atayra. But he's saying even according to those who say Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa is only Midivrei Seif, only Midrabanan, which that's what we take on.
Again, to review, it's not part of the 39 Melachos. Kibbutz it's only to create coal.
Ah, good. Yeah, exactly.
Just rid of.
Yeah.
That's what the Indian is. That's
the only time when it's considered Tzrich L'Gufa, because that's the way it was in the Mishkan. Or that's the only time when you run it, not in order just to save yourself from something which is bothering you. So
not to say it's not part of the Melachos.
It's a Melacha, but this Melacha of Kibbutz can only be in this circumstance.
Oh wow.
So it's one of the 39 Melachas, but you're only Chayiv for this Melacha only if you're doing it to make a color, or in order to make to make it easier to burn the next time the wick.
I don't want to say it on the hills, but today many Jewish people like to make fire to collect money from insurance. Melacha Shetzrich L'Gufa.
Very ma'odeh. They call them.
Is that considered Melacha Tzrich L'Gufa?
Slang.
It's a good question. That considered Melacha Tzrich L'Gufa?
Yeah.
No, because they want the fire. They want the burning. They don't want
the kibbutz, you're saying.
Nothing
They don't want the kibbutz. It's a good point also. Right, that's the havara they want. The havara, not the kibbutz.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Chas v'shalom.
Right. It's interesting, right? The kibbutz he Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa. He says kibbutz is a Melacha which is Ein Tzrich L'Gufa. K'meshakasa v'simen Shein Ches. And usually we say b'makim hefsek gadol. Usually we say that a makim hefsek gadol, if you're going to have a hefsek gadol, a big loss, and midol l'nachri v'davar sheni asal Yisrael, or medivrei seigim mashkaz v'simishin zayin, it's mutter yesh lahater, midol l'nachri, you're able to be matter, midol l'nachri v'davar sheni asal Yisrael, medivrei seigim mashkaz v'simishin zayin. It's something which is only asam midrabanan. Even if it's only a Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufa. So you're allowed to tell a guy if it's hefsek gadol, if it's a big loss, you're allowed to tell a guy to do that thing which also mit Rabbanon. Mekoma came Kamad Leika. Nevertheless, so here's different. Here you can't tell a guy to put out the why. Because it's when a fire breaks out, the person loses himself.
Two things you want to save whatever you could. That's the natural of the person. Save as much as possible.
So he's going to lose himself. The person becomes frantic.
He's not going to start thinking, 1 second, this is the Versefrim, the Teire, it's Tzrich L'Gufa.
And what's he going to do? If we're going to allow him to give him any heter, from him to say, oh, you could tell a guy, he's a Afu Le'it and he won't start making those stop signs. V'yavel Chabez Ba'atzmei, he's going to come to put it out himself. He's tell the guy, oh, I know you're allowed to put it on the guy. Okay, so he's going to lose himself. He knows something's mutter, so right away he's going to be running to put it out himself. And then if you skip the parentheses, I will mutalei l'chabas and b'nei svarim im yev shemininacha. But for svarim, you're allowed to put it out if it's yev shemininacha through a guy. But the question is, the guy himself, that's then Chavav about the guy himself. That you don't have to be meicher for the guy. If the guy decides to put it on himself, you don't have to tell him no that you're not allowed to put it out. You can let him put it out.
Svarim? What is Svarim?
Sikra Kedesh. Fine. So then
the Rav Zaidi, or was of Zaidi,
yeah.
when he was in Lubavitch, his grandfather, not this. There was a fire in Lubavitch, in his house. So usually over there, because one house attached to the other one, there was no fire department to call. Everybody has to take a bucket and start on this. He left his wife and kid and went to the Rebbe house to save all the smoke. Later on, his wife said, "I want to divorce you. To you, the books is more important than the children."
That was the whole story.
No, but you see,
He didn't get divorced, but she said that.
The whole story. It's a whole.
But the point is that when a person is excited and his brain doesn't work.
They say the story that unfortunately in Lubavitch had fires, and when the fires came out, the whole town
wipe out.
The whole town. So the Samach Tzedek, what he did was the Samach Tzedek wrote a lot more than what's printed. He wrote, he already had like 40 svarim out there. I'm saying. There's an amount of svarim that he has, Taira and tradition and everything. But he had a lot more.
It was burnt.
A lot of it was burnt. A lot of things, a lot of the Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch, a lot of things were burnt because of the fires. So what he did was he divided many of his ksavim, many of his writings. He divided in different places. He kept them in different places.
There'll be a fire, not that should burn.
Like people don't fly together with their wife.
So
similar. That's right.
So he put one of his backs of ksavim writings. He put it by a big chassid who was like a known chassid. Who was a great thinker of chassidus, a great scholar, and you know, he was a big chassid, known as a big chassid. Also put it by he put another one by a chassidish yid. Not such a big scholar and everything, but Chassidish Yid. More simple, but it is Chassidish. Fire broke out. And Samach Tzedek came running to each place to see what's going on with the Ksavim. So he goes to the Chassidish Yid, wasn't the big guy. He says, Rebbe, I have the backs. Here it is. I saved the backs. The first thing I took out, that's what I took out. Because it's split seconds. That's it. You don't have what to save, right? There's no time to save it. It's not like today that in the walls they put fire things to stop it. And they had a shack over there. It went up in flames in 2 seconds. So he goes running to the other person who was officially a big, and he sees him schlepping out like his expensive things over there. He says, "Where's the ksavim?" He's like, "Oh, I forgot." Sometimes, with all the haskalas, with all the...
It's more about his money, not about his money.
I don't know if the other person was even Ovid. I think he was but he knew this was real to him. This was the Akapanim. Let's look at Reisha and Ches quickly. It's Siman Reisha and Ches, because that's where the really discussion of it's also about putting out a fire, but
Shin Lamed what?
It's page Reish Ayin Aleph. Page Reish Ayin Aleph. This is actually the Siman of Melacha Shein Tzrich L'Gufo. This is the Siman.
Reish Ayin Ches.
Reish Ayin Ches. It's page Reish Ayin Aleph.
Oh, right.
This reminded me, I was in my minor team, and Friday night, like maybe 1 o'clock at night, I turned the nose. The patient doesn't feel can't sleep. You could take off the light, She said, "The rabbi said you could do it yourself."
I'll never forget it.
They were too lazy to.
She's learning the halacha. She told me that the patients allowed to shut it.
They were too lazy to come over.
Nice. She knows the halacha.
Let's see, but it's not so much. Let's see. Reisha and Ches. That's what we're actually talking about. Shiachal lechabas never shelachel can put out the candle. Now we're talking about a flame. We're talking about a candle. And that was the lights at that time. So it's Aleph. Mutter lechabes is haner. You're allowed to put out the candle. The shvil achela sheishim for lechela. A sick person, in order that he should be able to sleep, he's having trouble sleeping with the light on. You're allowed to put out. But he says imu chela sheish bechashash sakana. Only if it's a chela, if someone sick who has a chashash, that's a sakana. Imlation if he's not gonna sleep. So too, somebody's scared, right? From robbers, because maybe they're gonna kill him. They shouldn't kill him. You're allowed to put out the candle because they shouldn't see him there. If you see a candle, there's someone there. So this way, no one sees him. Why? Even if it's a suspicion that maybe it will be a sakana, yeah. Well, they mean Shem Chashash Sakana Fafashes, but if there's no Chashash, that there's going to be a Sakana Fafashes, Ella Sakana Mamin, only what? That maybe money is going to be lost. So then you're not allowed to put it out. We're talking about a chela which is no sakana if it's not going to sleep. Also the chayiv is very safe. So then midrabanan you're not allowed to put it out. In kiba, if you put it out, you're going to be potter. Why you potter? Because this is what we're discussing. Now you're ready for a third pidush melacha tzrich l'gufa. The Rebbe has a mechudesh dike pidush tzrich l'gufa, which actually is we don't really find. The Yereim says this verb, but he says more than the Alter Rebbe. So the Rebbe is maybe taking part of the Yereim, but the Alter Rebbe didn't see the Yereim. The Yereim only was Mizgal only 100 years ago, so the Alter Rebbe didn't see it, so it can't be his makar. But some people say the makar of the Alter Rebbe is from the Yerushalmi. But from all the Rishonim, it's not clear there's such a definition of Melacha tzrich l'gufa. But they say based on the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi uses such l'shemus. Okay, so listen. Claimer. What does it mean, Melacha tzrich l'gufa? Sheha-melacha, that the Melacha tzrich l'ay is needed for the person. The person needs this Melacha. Why does the person need this Melacha? B'shvil gufa. He needs it for gufa. What is gufa? Which means the person needs the Melacha for the gufa. What's gufa? Dahaino, this means shetzarich l'ay, the person needs guf hadavar, he needs the thing, the actual thing, shaguf ha-melacha nasas. You need the thing which the melacha is being done with. You need the object which the melacha is being done with. That's what Alter Rebbe says. Melacha tzricha l'gufa means that you need the thing, the melacha tzricha l'gufa, for the thing which you're doing the melacha with.
And in this situation?
Okay, good. For example, that if you extinguish wood which is on fire, b'shvil hapchamim, for the coals, sheim ru'im l'tzreifim, which could be used for the smidi to mold, for using for molding. Shaguf melachas akibei, where is the actual kibei being done, extinguishing being done? Nasa b'guf hapchamim are being done in the coals, in the coals. Sheim tzrichim, which you need the coals. So I need the coals. So the thing which the melacha is being done, what's the thing which the melacha is being done when you're extinguishing? It's being done in this coal. And I need the coal.
Exactly, creating, what do you mean by, it's just like fire, like wood coals, not
charcoal.
Like charcoal.
This over here is actually wood, right? So wood coals, I guess. Yeah.
Charcoal is not wood?
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Charcoal is wood?
The regular word kol means avanim, that they dig in the mine. And in wood that you burn is called charcoal. Not only wood, potatoes, anything that you turn into black thing. That's charcoal. You know, anything that you burn to get it, that's called charcoal.
Real coal. I'm mining their mine.
Right, so mine.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's a little different. That's
Could be that then they didn't have these.
When you make a barbecue, you go to the store, you buy like a bag of coal. What is this? Isn't it
I don't know.
But over here you're right. Over here it says
charcoal or
eitzim.
coal.
Over here it says eitzim adolka. Like you say, it says wood.
I don't know. Is it coal?
You're extinguishing it in order to be able to use it for further.
Char the woods.
Maybe they didn't have this so much, like you said, from the
Yeah,
mine.
maybe they didn't have coal. I don't know.
Or not. It wasn't as easy to get. Maybe.
They had wood.
So they used the wood to make it. They made a coal out of the wood, and they used that to mold. So you needed this.
Mold? What is mold?
Mold is to mold metal, smithy, to mold metal, different types of metals.
Molten metal.
I'm sorry, molten.
Molten metal.
Molten with a T, not with a.
Well, the coal,
make
if they would
things.
burn it, they would be able to pour something in it.
Well,
It needed heat in order to be able to work with it.
So that you would use the burnt wood. That would be another way to prepare.
You need a source of heat in order to be able to
burn better.
to be able to form the metal. The metal needs to get a shape. If you want to make a keli, so you need to make it soft, the metal, to be able to move it around, to be able to mold it, for welding or different things.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Akapanim, you need the actual. You need the actual thing which the Melacha is being done with.
well, they could make a tool. They could make a tool.
Like you say, you need the coals or the wood, whatever is burning.
And the Melacha is being done in the woods.
Right.
So that's called, the Melacha is he needs legufa for the thing which the Melacha is being done with.
And do what you want. You want to make it clear, etc. That's what they did. The olden days, 2,000 years ago, that's how they make healing. We can't understand today because everything's done by machine and this. That's actually how they live.
Yeah, so he says, what is a Malach Shein Tzricha? The line says Avo Malach, is four lines from the top.
You know where you could see it when you go to a museum making glasses?
Glass. I saw it in Venice.
Over there, Venice. So over there you see how So over there you see how people do actually from fire shape and etc.
Right.
Yeah, he puts the glass in the it's like becomes like hot, like red,
Very hot.
and then he makes forms like a horse.
Whatever he
out of
wants.
it. Yeah.
The art.
It's art.
You
yeah.
really see it with glass blowing.
Glass blowing, right?
Yes.
Glass blowing.
But it is art.
No, and to make a tool, you need
So to get an idea what we're talking about here.
So the point is that you need the coal, you need the coal, and the malacha, the kibbeh, is being done in the coals,
Right, it's a
and you
gufa.
need the coals. So the
That's the
malacha is
gufa.
needed for you. The malacha of kibbeh is needed for you for the gufa, which means
the
the
coal itself.
gufa davar, the thing itself, which you're doing the malacha with.
What goes the coal
See the
itself.
coal itself. Avo, let's see the fourth line from the top. Avo malacha shein tzricha legufa. But a malacha which is not tzricha legufa. What is the example for that? If you need this malacha which you're doing, you need bishul davar acher for something else. She'ein guf ha-malacha nasa by which the malacha, let's say in our case of kibbeh, is not being done in that thing. For example, kagay. If you put out a candle, why? Because not because you want to make a coal. You don't care about making a coal. You don't want the oil to be used up. Right? Like
You try to save the oil.
right, you're turning off the light to save electricity.
Right.
You're putting out the light in order
Not
to
to make
save the
double
oil.
oil.
Now, is the kibbeh being done in the oil or in the wick?
psila.
In the psila.
Yeah, so then it's not gufa.
So it's
According
not.
to this new idea.
Yeah, according to this idea, that it's malacha tzrichale. It's not the malacha you need. You need the kibbeh, but you need the kibbeh
For the
Not-
oil.
not-
for the oil, not for the thing which the malacha is being done with. Which the thing the malacha is being done with is what is the psila, is the actual wick. So he says, or another example is. Or because you're worried about the actual, they used to have a earthenware vessel where they used to have the oil in, and coming out from it was the wick. So he was worried that it was getting too hot
It'll crack.
and it's going to crack. So therefore, he wants to put it out in order to save the keli, in order to save the
Again,
cheres.
it's not the gufo, it's the...
Oh, it's not the gufa, not the psila. It's for something else which the Melacha is not. So you need the Melacha, you need the Kibbutz, but it's not. You don't need it for the thing which the Melacha is being done.
But if it cracks, that could create a fire. In other words, if the oil spread, the fire
Could be, yeah.
wouldn't be safe.
Then that's
Yeah.
a sakana.
Yeah. Sheguf Melachas Hakibbin Nasa B'Psila, where the over here he's discussing right. He's saying there's no sakana. It's also, but the evid is going to be potter. If you did it, you're going to be potter. You're not going to be chayiv. Where Sheguf Melachas Hakibbin Nasa B'Psila, the actual Melach of Kibbi is being done where in the wick. Who miskavim melachta, but his kavanah in doing this melacha is for mipnei shetzarach l'shem because he needs the oil, a laner or the laner, the keli klicheres or the earthenware vessel. Chein ha-machabas adleika neshachas l'mein soto. Somebody puts out a fire because he's worried about his money. So we just saw that in the other simon that you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to put it out if you're worried because of money. If that's your only reason. But if you did it, you're going to be potter because of Melacha Tzricha L'Gufa. Because the money, because you don't need the
He's potter from Kavoy, but he's fired from whatever job.
because you don't.
So what is he trying to say why is he cementing that he's potter?
No, because it's not because ain't Tzricha L'Gufa. He's giving another example.
Well, what is he potter?
He's not going to get, if he did it on purpose, he's not going to get any of edim, he's not going to be chayiv misa. If he did it by mistake, he's not going to be chayiv a carbon. It's a Melacha Shem. It's Medivir Seifim.
So that's why, but you can't use the goy because of bowl.
Can't use a guy because of bowl, yeah. But if you did it, you're going to be potter. And you have to do tshuva like you did Yisad Rabbanim.
Right.
Which that was the hemshich of that sif over there, which we didn't continue over there. Hemshich of the fire sif over there about kapara, what you have to do for kapara.
Was it true?
One, the parenthesis.
And another sif before we went to that sif about the guy. Okay, just do more lines this later already. So too, if someone puts out a call because a rabbim, many people shouldn't get hurt. So getting back to the case of the beginning of the sif, this person is putting it out because of the chayla, because of someone who's sick, who doesn't have a sakana, even now listed or because of rabbi. There's a Melacha Shem L'Gufa, there's a Melacha Shem L'Gufa, Kevin She'enim Eskavim, Mishal Tzeder Rachamim, Psila Shekiv Natzavim, so he doesn't have kavanah for the Chamim or the Psila which nasa them.
It's mutter, right?
It's a sakana.
If it's yesh bei sakana, so then taka you're allowed to put it out.
Yeah,
But if there's no sakana, so then it's going to be potter, but it's not going to be chayiv.
It's not going to be mutter.
Yeah. Not going to be mutter, no.
No, but in your chayiv,
If you put it out, you're going to be potter because it's ain't tzricha gufa.
yeah.
Potter, but chayiv, you have to do tshuva for their abundance.
Yeah, that was over there about. We learn out a lot about the tshuva. We learn out from there. I think if your phone puts out a fire, I'd say because nowadays, because of sakana, like nowadays when you put it out,
It's mutter.
you're not allowed to do tshuva. We're not going to get. They're not going to give you any kapara to do, and not allowed to do tshuva because then
allowed to do tshuva.
because then you think that next time you're gonna. You say, okay, I was allowed to do it, but I still mechal Shabbos.
Mention that you shouldn't.
No, it happened to me once that I had to make a telephone call on Shabbat.
Yeah.
So instead of feeling bad about it, I felt good about it.
Right, because the mitzvah.
Because I said to myself, this is the first time I ever had the mitzvah of being mechalel Shabbat l'tzorach pikuach nefesh.
Right.
Who was dying?
It's not Chil Shabbos, but Shabbos itself tells you that in this situation you should do this. It's not real Chil Shabbos.
Yeah.
There's a whole discussion, man. If Shabbos Tchuya or Hutra. There's a whole discussion on this thing that's not for now. It's
Kriyo.
Tchuya or Hutra, and there's nafkaminas about it.
What's
It's Tchuya or Hutra, which means do we say when it's a sakana, do we say that Shabbos is b'chlal doesn't exist? It's like. Or that's chuya, so you have to do some shinuyim, or you have to. There's differences. It's nafkaminas. When you get this, you're not supposed to do tshuva. That's for sure.
You shouldn't do shinui because it's going to take too long.
You shouldn't.
That's the problem with the shinui.
No, he says it over here. He says it in Sif Chavches. He says because Alter Rebbe brings it.
shouldn't do it.
He says this tshuva which he brings is only in the case which he said. But in a case when someone's saving for money, but if someone is saving because of sakana and he wants to be maching himself to do tshuva, we don't let Eiman Ichimei say. We don't allow Kadesh Yivnu Melachabes. They shouldn't hold back from putting it out. We don't allow them.
We don't allow them to do
like you said, gadol, mitzvah gadol.
We don't allow them to. We don't allow them to do a shina either. I remember learning to take away precious time.
Alright, so that's discussion also about shina. Yeah.